Okay, so today we are talking about a situation that involves a creator that I've been asked to cover quite a lot over the past few days specifically. And the one thing I kept seeing was people were comparing her and saying that she's a TikTok version of Illuminati. Now hearing this, it obviously piqued my interest and I had to look into it, and I've got to be honest, for the most part, I was very confused. There was just so many different parts of this story, it was so hard to figure out the order of what was going on, but lucky for me, there is a podcast called Do We Know Them that helped out a lot. Here's the channel on screen right now. It's a podcast with Jesse Smiles and Lily Marston, and it's a very good podcast to watch. They basically cover a bunch of the drama and different situations that have happened within the last week, and they've actually mentioned me a few times on the podcast, and I've got to say, every time I do hear my name, my ego grows just a little bit more, so thank you for that. But in all seriousness, without these two right now, I genuinely wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about with this video, so please go and give them a watch. But yeah, either way, the main person we are speaking about today is a TikToker by the name of Lauren The Mortician. She has 2.5 million followers, and as the name suggests, she was a mortician. And that was a big part of her content for a long time. She would answer questions and educate people on being a mortician. Like for example, we have a video here where she's answering a question that says, Lauren, what do you guys do if the family signs but never pays? To which Lauren will then, of course, answer the question.
Okay, so what happens if you have signed for the cremation for your parent or your loved one, but you don't pay the funeral home? What a lot of funeral homes are doing now is they will not complete the service that you want without payment prior to the funeral day.
So yeah, you get the gist of her content, right? She would educate people and answer questions on being a mortician. Now there has been a few question marks surrounding Lauren if some of the stuff that she said is true. Some people believe some of the stories that she's told in the past seem pretty far-fetched and they don't believe they've happened. That's not really what we're talking about today. It's just to add some context that there already was a few question marks here and there. But for the most part, Lauren the Mortician was a very respected TikToker. She has a very big following and her viewers clearly liked her content. But now she doesn't just do the videos educating people on being a mortician, she also does different bits of content. And now one style of content that she's been doing is testing products that are for your children. Lauren is a mother herself, so she would test out different products. I've seen her test out like safety beds or like these barriers that would go on the bath to stop splashing and stuff like that. And one product she tested and said that she doesn't recommend is a car seat for a child. Specifically a car seat that can twist, and she questioned the safety of this product. Now the problem here is that Lauren doesn't actually have any qualifications to be saying something like this. It is just very opinion based, which I guess for the most part is fine. If you're doing a review for a product, you don't technically need to have qualifications. But when you're saying things along the lines of the product is unsafe for your child and you're not showing any proof, that's a bit too much, right? You clearly need to know what you're talking about when you start saying assumptions like this. And because of this, a lot of people had a problem with Lauren's video, and one person in particular who had a problem with Lauren's video was actually the Jamie Grayson. And as we can see by his bio, it says CPST, which I believe stands for Child Passenger Safety Technician, and it also says 18 years in baby gear, so he is an expert when it comes to this type of stuff. And this is what he had to say regarding Lauren's video.
I want to address this, and this is in no way a hate Lauren the Mortician post. I follow her, we follow each other, we are mutuals. I like her content. What is not okay is I'm getting tagged all over the place on her account about car seats. I am a CPST. I was first certified as a child passenger safety technician about 10 years ago, and I am now dual certified as a CPST in America and Canada.
Yeah, so this is very key information, okay? The bloke is clearly qualified. He knows what he's talking about. Now, the reason why this is important is because we'll later find out Lauren doesn't think that this guy knows what he's talking about and that she should actually know more than him because she's a mother and he doesn't have children. Which is, of course, a mental take because this guy's profession couldn't be any more specific to the topic they're currently trying to debate. A child passenger safety technician. Yeah, I reckon he probably does know what he's talking about.
Her opinion on car seats and what dictates if a seat is safe or not, along with anyone else, if you do not work in this space, it does not matter. That's full stop. That's it. There's all car seats that are legal and regulated that are on the market are safe when used correctly.
I mean, look, it's a very good point, isn't it? Like, it would be very different if you were reviewing, I don't know, a computer mouse, right? If I reviewed a computer mouse, I don't have any qualifications to really suggest that I know exactly what I'm talking about with the technology of this computer mouse, but if I say I like it or dislike it, doesn't really have that many negative effects. But if you're making a video reviewing a child's car seat and saying that this particular type of car seat is unsafe for the child, that does have big effects. Imagine if a parent is watching that video and they have that particular type of car seat and now they're questioning if their child's in danger or not because of your video. When in actual reality, as Jamie's saying here, Lauren doesn't really know what she's talking about. And as Jamie says, the main point that needs to be made here is that some people aren't using the car seats correctly. It's not to do with a specific type of car seat. If you use any car seat and use it incorrectly, that could be unsafe.
If you do not work in car seat safety, if you are not a manufacturer, if you do not have the CPST certification, your opinion on if a car seat is safe or not has no merit. We also have no way to test them for safety. We don't have labs. We don't have sleds. We go by the base assumption that car seats available for purchase on the American market get a pass-fail. That's what they get. Same in Canada. You get a pass or a fail. So car seats save lives when they are used correctly.
I mean, look, he's not exactly being harsh, is he? He's not sat there calling her names or anything. He's just raising a point. He's saying, look, if you don't know what you're talking about, maybe don't talk about it. It's a very important topic, you know. Every parent is going to have to use this at one point. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't say it. Very simple. Now, as you can imagine, since I'm talking about this in a video, Lauren's response to this wasn't exactly great. Honest question, would you take baby product advice from a man who has no children, has 12 to 15 strollers inside their living room, also attempts to give baby wearing / baby carrier product recommendations, car seat recommendations, and high chair recommendations to actual mothers? You know, just wondering. Hypothetically and all, because I sure the fuck wouldn't. Especially when they link these products conveniently in their bio for you to purchase, so they make commissions and gain financially from that. Never having used a product with a physical baby on a day-to-day basis. Nah, me neither. Just checking. Now straight away, there's a lot of problems with this. First of all, the way she words this, saying this is a man who has no children, but has 12 to 15 strollers inside their living room. Like, it almost seems like she's trying to insinuate that he's, like, creepy in a way, right? Completely ignoring the context that this is actually his profession, like he is literally a child passenger safety technician. Like, genuinely, if you just added that detail anywhere in this, it changes anybody's opinion who's just seeing this question for the first time. Like, genuinely, the way she's wording this is as if some random bloke who has no children but has loads of baby products in his home for whatever reason has just decided that he knows better than a mother. And it's just completely unwarranted. I mean, that would be weird, right? But no, in actual reality, she's just twisted this a lot straight away. And secondly, even if she's not trying to make him seem creepy and I'm looking too much into it, and by the way, a lot of people also seem to hold the same opinion that I do, that does seem like she's trying to say that. But even if she isn't, the fact that she's just trying to take away from this guy's qualifications that he's been doing for over a decade, it's just weird, isn't it? It's just strange behaviour. Even if she's not trying to make him seem creepy, she has definitely manipulated the context of this situation and completely avoided the fact that this guy actually does this for a living. And also the last bit of the statement that says, especially when they link these products conveniently in their bio for you to purchase, so they make commissions and gain financially from that. It's a bit odd because she's done similar stuff in the past. Companies actually send her products as well, so she's getting free products. She's not exactly innocent when it comes to this. But at the end of the day, this guy does it for a profession. This is his job. He's been doing it for a long time. And you just haven't mentioned that, and you're just trying to make him seem like a creep, in my opinion. Now, around this time, Lauren actually blocks Jamie on social media. Guess you probably wouldn't be surprised by that, judging off the statement we just read.
It seems Lauren has blocked me. I said nothing negative. Really.
And then, as you can imagine, a bunch of people have started turning on Lauren at this point, and some more information's kind of came out that's got a lot of people angry. One bit of information that came out is that Lauren was seen to be liking anti-LGBTQ posts on Instagram. Now, we'll get to her response for this in a second, which is basically along the lines of, she is bisexual and also the person making the post was gay, but this is what Jamie had to say when he found out about this.
You know what? This is a very interesting point right here. She hasn't gone after other people to the degree that she has come after me. And, you know, multiple other doctors, you know, pediatricians, PTs, OTs, people have been bringing stuff to her attention. She just blocks them, but I'm the one that she keeps going after. And I was, you know, kind of giving her a pass on the homophobia bit because I didn't have proof until now. I got shots. Is this you engaging with alt-right, homophobic, and transphobic content?
And like I mentioned, her response was basically the fact that she's bisexual and the person making the post is gay. But a lot of people's response to that was, just because that's a fact doesn't mean that you can't be anti-LGBTQ. Like, just because you're bisexual doesn't mean that you can't be transphobic, for example, right? And instead of making a response video explaining why she liked these posts and what she supported about these posts and trying to add some context to it, she just basically said that she was bisexual and the person making it was gay. Didn't actually give an explanation for the post itself. So again, as you can imagine, a lot of people are turning on Lauren at this point, and unfortunately, we're kind of nowhere near the end, really. Because a lot more stuff happens, and it just keeps getting more and more insane the more we go on. Because this is where we get introduced to a new character in this story, if you want to call it that. It's a TikToker called Caffeinated Kitty. They have 679,000 followers on TikTok. And they were constantly getting compared to Lauren. They have this, like, running thing on both their pages where someone will comment Beetlejuice on a post that they want their creator to respond to. I don't really get it, but all I know is that they were getting compared for whatever reason, and Kitty ends up making a video giving her thoughts on Lauren.
Clearly you're a hateful person who just is mad that she's popular and has a bigger following than you, and you just want to tear another woman down, you might say. But you're incorrect. The truth of the matter is, the only reason I'm saying anything about it is because I'm getting confused for her. In multiple different threads over the weekend that people were talking about creators that are coming out with controversy or bad vibes, I'm getting tagged because people are talking about the Beetlejuice lady, and other people are being like, who? Are you talking about Kitty? And to those who are, like, correcting this, I do appreciate you. Not because I'm afraid of getting hate, I just prefer accuracy. If people are going to dislike me, can you at least dislike me for something I actually say or do?
Okay, so you get the point. The video goes on and on. She's talking about how she gets compared to her. She doesn't want to get compared to her. She also mentioned the fact that Lauren's been liking these posts that we just mentioned. And she also says, I'm not saying 100% that she's copying me. Maybe it is just a bit of a coincidence, but I do think that she's copying this different creator.
And I don't even have the middle school mindset of, she's copying me. I'm sure she will claim that she didn't even know who I was and had nothing to do with me, etc. It was just a matter of coincidence, and that's fine. My concern was that A, people would claim I was copying her just because they heard it from her first as a larger creator in statistics, or two, she would inevitably do something that gets herself in some hot water and people remember like gimmicks better than they remembered names, and so the Beetlejuice thing would be brought up and people would get us confused, and lo and behold, like most things, I'm right. Just not Lauren's kind of right, if you know what I mean. And on that note, and this is conjecture, but I mean, if it were the case that it was copying, it wouldn't be the first time. A Morbid Minute is absolutely from Caitlin Dougherty or Ask a Mortician, and as somebody in the, like, funeral space, it's a very niche content creation subgenre, she has no reason to not know that. I've never seen her acknowledge Caitlin in terms of the Morbid Minute coming from her, but I mean, I'll just point that out.
Now again, if there's anything that we've learned about Lauren so far in this video, is that she is not happy when people make these type of videos criticizing her. So you can probably, actually I was gonna say you could guess what she does next, but you probably can't. Because this time it just wasn't a post, you know, manipulating things and leaving out key details. She went a bit further.
A sizable content creator on this app has apparently hired an attorney to threaten me with all manner of legal actions, and I need to come on here and set the record straight.
Yeah, so I guess this is probably where, like, the Illuminati comparisons came from, because we're getting into, like, the legal action. But let me tell you, Lauren puts a different twist on the legal action, because she goes ahead and does something that Blair hasn't even done yet, which is astonishing.
But it has crossed over into my real life, because seriously, this attorney sent the police to my front door in a wellness check.
I mean, that's a new one. That is a twist in the story that we haven't heard yet, especially from Blair. We've heard many lawsuits throughout the years, we've heard 3 just with Blair, but we've never heard the attorney sending the police over for a wellness check. That is new. And not only is it new, it's absolutely insane. Who the fuck does that? Now, we will mention who this attorney is a bit later in the video, because they're actually a TikToker as well, but she gives off some very strange vibes, to say the least, and according to Kitty here, she actually sent the police over to do a wellness check on her, which, if that is true, is mental. Remember, this is all based on the fact that Kitty made a video criticising Lauren. Mental.
But the thing is that I am a villain life coach, so that's certainly the first problem for them. That I'm going to be true to myself and my brand by giving them a very similar energy back in response to this ridiculous situation that they've created. Let me preface this by saying that the content and the things I am about to show and tell are all for the purposes of critique, commentary, parody, satire, and a recitation of the facts.
Yeah, so, as you can see, Kitty has been very careful about the legal side of all of this at this point. Can't really blame her. Which, of course, is why I will also say right now, this is obviously information that Kitty has said in her video, and I'm just giving my opinions based on what Kitty has said. I'm not saying it's 100% true, wasn't there, not involved, don't really know 100%. I'm just giving my thoughts on what Kitty is mentioning. Okay, let's continue.
When this first started, to the attorney, I didn't think that it was actually someone Lauren hired. I thought that's such a bad PR move.
Can I just say, by the way, right, I don't really overly know anyone involved in this. I didn't hear about any of these people before making this video and researching it. But this Kitty sarcasm is brilliant, so for the very little that I know about Kitty, I will say I like her sense of humour.
To explain and address why anybody would ever confuse us, which is the only reason I ever made a piece on Lauren, because people were like, how could anybody get you too confused? You look nothing alike. And I'm like, thank Baphomet on that one. But this is the context, and it was created by someone else who gave me permission to repost it. So when it got copyrighted, I was like, that's definitely not from the person who made it. And then I looked at the name of the attorney associated with the copyright strike, and I recognized it from just very earlier before, where someone had reached out to me asking if I had gotten anything similar to something they got after they sent an email to Lauren for just a singular private email, as far as they told me, and they got an absolutely unhinged response from someone claiming to be her attorney, and this was the same person.
Okay, so in case you're a little bit lost, Kitty received a copyright takedown on one of her videos and assumed it wasn't from Lauren herself, because why would she do that? And it wasn't from Lauren, it was from a different name, but she recognised that name from a previous conversation that she had. And this conversation was between a different creator who reached out to Lauren previously with just a private email, wasn't too bad, we'll get into that in a bit, and they received an unhinged response in return from this same name. Turns out this was the name of Lauren's attorney, who, as I said earlier, gives off a bit of a weird vibe. Hopefully weird vibe doesn't count as defamation. Are we sure about that? And now at this point, Kitty made the video that we watched earlier, and this is where we'll get back to Kitty to tell the rest of the story.
Apparently Jeanette saw the video where I was talking about this, which was the same day that I emailed her, and she thought it was an appropriate response to send the police to my front door in a wellness check. And the police show up telling me that Jeanette Braun sent them and that she was concerned about erratic and irrational things I was posting on social media. And I explained the situation, how I knew her name and what all was going on, and that from my perspective, they had just been used as a threat of doxing. And the police seemed to be in agreement that this was an absolutely unhinged and inappropriate thing for someone to do.
A very inappropriate thing to do. How are you going to send the police to someone's door to do a wellness check without any real reason to do so? What, because someone made a video that you didn't agree with on TikTok? That makes zero sense. And remember, we're talking about an attorney here, so if the story is true, you know, because Kitty's the one mentioning it, I don't know 100%, but if it is true, and an attorney's done that, bit mad, innit?
Then the very next morning, I received my own absolutely. Someone needs to stop at a hardware store sometime soon, because we do not have any hinges for this woman's door, apparently. Email from Jeanette. That is also, just side note, in my opinion, very poorly written.
And we will get to this letter, the cease and desist, to be specific, because Kitty has posted an image which she says is the cease and desist that the attorney sent, and again, if this is true, it's mad. It is genuinely one of the most insanely written cease and desist, or probably the most insanely written cease and desist I've ever seen.
Not to mention that she not only CC'd my mommy in this and mentions my mother's, past address, but she also goes ahead and CCs a theater company that I personally don't work for and have not associated with in years, and that my mother doesn't even work for.
What the fuck is going on here? Again, if this is true, this is so bizarre. This is genuinely a story that Blair would be so jealous of. She can only dream of having a situation like this.
It in her heart to give me some advice that I should get in touch with my insurance information and provide it to her ASAP, because otherwise, if I delay, I might not get covered. She also gave me a super duper scary deadline to issue a public apology to Lauren, but also make sure to take down anything and everything mentioning her across every social media platform ever. Total cease and desist. Also, I need to give her the information of anybody who's part of my team, their addresses, their emails, their social medias, everything. And I'm not gonna lie, Jeanette, I personally do not trust you with that information. So, despite not having any guilt on who's a part of my team, in fact, I'm very proud, no. She also included an entire trigger warning to start it out that basically insinuated that she believes I'm in an absolute mental health crisis spiral and all that jazz, and that I should have a support system before I read the rest of her email to me. And I just want to assure you, Jeanette, despite the fact that you sent the police to my front door and like what again I consider a clear threat of doxing due to the fact I have documented and posted unalive and harm threats that people have sent me over my years, actually I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. But from my perspective, it does look like your gaslight is on, and you should probably think about stopping to refuel soon.
Yeah, like I said, we will get to the cease and desist. In fact, we'll get to it now, but I mean, if this is a real cease and desist, it is genuinely the definition of gaslighting. Okay, so here we have a screenshot of the cease and desist that was posted by Kitty, and it says, I hope this email finds you well and in a centered and rational state of mind. I am Lauren the Mortician, federal civil attorney, and I'm in receipt of your email below. The proper preferred way to address me in communications is Miss Braun. You and I are not on a first name basis. Attorney Braun would also suffice. Look, I think it's pretty obvious that Attorney Braun here isn't exactly wanting to come across as likeable, but have you actually seen someone come across as so unlikable within a few sentences before? You proclaim to be a demon playing a game of chess against me while I am playing checkers. I am not playing any games. None of this is a game, and it is clear you have no respect for the judicial process. God, I said that so weird, didn't I? Judicial. Whoa. Okay, we'll find another word that I struggle to pronounce. Brilliant. However, you are not playing a game of chess. Your actions make it undeniable that you are playing a game of Twister in the mud. What is going on here? This sounds like a rap battle more than anything. It's just writing in bars. I recommend you stop playing all games and give the situation that you have caused the respect it deserves. You also claim that you will, in so many words, do demon things in the very near future. You intended this to be a threat to others based on the connotation and context of the statement. After seeing your multiple irrational and erratic posts on social media of the weekend, along with your TikTok livestream, I am worried that your mental state is unstable and that you may hurt yourself or someone else after reading this email. I believe you are not going to take the news well that you are so wrong. If you have not composed yourself yet and are still spiraling, honestly, this is one of the most bizarre things I've ever read in my life. Like I said before, this genuinely is the definition of gaslighting, but it's also just insane. What a mental thing to write. Like, imagine actually writing this out for straight face and thinking this is a good idea. And again, this is allegedly from an attorney, like an actual professional attorney. I don't get it. If you're still spiraling, please stop reading here and make sure you have someone from your support network that you trust to be with you while you read on. Heed this trigger warning. Okay, right, yeah, that's what we have so far. The most bizarre opening to a cease and desist I've ever seen. Granted, I haven't seen that many cease and desist in my life, but this is genuinely the most bizarre by an absolute mile. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Kitty isn't the only person who has allegedly received a cease and desist from Lauren the Mortician's attorney. In fact, a video was uploaded by a TikToker called Becca, who was in contact with this creator who wants to stay anonymous, who also received a cease and desist. And if this story is true, the way they received the cease and desist, again, is mental.
This creator sent Lauren an email a few weeks ago after all of this was coming out about her, and she emailed her public email and asked if the rumors going on were actually true. This was a follower of Lauren, someone who really liked her content. She wanted to go straight to the source and figure out what was really going on. I've read through this creator's initial email, and there was absolutely nothing that was threatening, that could be seen as defamation, nothing at all. There was nothing problematic in it. It was just very clearly a fan who liked Lauren asking for clarification if the rumors were true.
Okay, so again, we do just kind of have to trust what Becca is saying here. We don't know 100%, but apparently a creator who is just basically a fan of Lauren the Mortician sent an email to an address that was made public and just asked if the rumors were true, and this is the response they got.
In response to that email sent to Lauren's public email, she received this cease and desist. And in this cease and desist, not only did it list this creator, but it also listed this creator's mother. But the email that Lauren's attorney sent this to was not actually this creator's mother. So now some random third party has a ton of private information about this creator.
Okay, so apparently here, and again, don't know if it's true, but I kind of want it to be true because it's an insane story. But apparently a creator who was actually a bit of a fan of Lauren the Mortician sends an email and asks if the rumors are true that are going around about her, and in return actually receives a cease and desist from Lauren's attorney. And in this email where they've sent a cease and desist, they also CC'd this person's mother, or who they believed was this person's mother, but it's actually not. It's just some random email address. So some random stranger who has absolutely nothing to do with this has just woke up to an email of a cease and desist claiming that they're the mother of the person receiving it. What is going on here? I don't think I've ever actually watched a movie that has this many twists and turns in the story. It's actually mental.
She never made a video about Lauren, ever. The only correspondence was her sending this email, this singular email, to Lauren's public email.
Okay, so apparently, the only time this person, who has now received a cease and desist, has ever mentioned Lauren online was in this email, this private email. They've never even made a video or anything. I mean, if this is true, like, I'm just so confused how this is a real situation. And like I also mentioned earlier, this attorney does have a TikTok account, as we can see here. It's Braun Law. They have 46.8 thousand followers on TikTok. And as we can see by their videos here, they just kind of have a lot of ones just giving their opinions or like educating people on law, I guess. But one thing I do find interesting about this attorney, if we actually go to their website and we see their services, it seems like they specialize in copyright and trademarks and stuff along them lines. We provide in-depth advising regarding the copyright application process, works made for hire, defenses to copyright infringement, as well as the acquisition, sale, and licensing of copyrighted work. But we'll get to a video of Jeanette where she explains her side of the story in terms of like the copyright claims and whatnot in just a second. But firstly, we do actually have a bit of a response regarding the whole like wellness check situation. So someone's actually commented on Jeanette's video here saying, "Can we get one on if it's cool for an attorney to harass the other party by requesting wellness checks? Individuals often perceive inquiries into their well-being, such as wellness checks, as intrusive or harassing when they are in need of assistance." So it seems like, to me, in my opinion, she's defending her actions here by saying that, yeah, this person thinks I'm harassing them by doing the wellness check, but that actually usually means that they probably did need a check. I would love to personally hear her explanation on why she felt like this person needed a wellness check, because that is a bit of a mystery at this point. But we also do have a video from Jeanette where she's responding to the TikToker Becca, who we just watched, telling the story of this anonymous creator who received a cease and desist. And in this video, Jeanette says she's not going to talk about the other stuff, that stuff's going to be spoke about in court, but what she will talk about publicly here is the whole copyright and kind of her side of things. And in her opinion, it is impossible for her to do the stuff that she has been accused of.
She went and looked up what false copyright strike means, because words have meaning, and that is a very specific thing. It is impossible for me to submit a false copyright strike because I cannot strike anything. The platform makes the strike.
Okay, so straight away she looks into the specific words that have been used, like, way too much. Obviously, no one who's watched Becca Day's video has assumed that you have the power to file a copyright strike, and YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform it's on has no power to take that away, right? She's saying that she can't file the copyright strike because YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform it is has to accept it. Everyone knows that. But she also said that the request can't be false because the platform actually approved of it.
We're assuming that Becca understands what false copyright strike means in the legal sense, but I understand a bunch of you probably do not have any idea what that means because copyrights are a mystery. And if you're a content creator, you have copyright rights. If you have ever taken a photo, you have a copyright right. If you have ever drawn anything, you have a copyright right. One of the missions of my law firm is to battle art theft, and that is what we do. And we do it for both small and big creators.
Yeah, one thing you will notice throughout this is that she never mentions fair use. Ever. The way she explains this, in my opinion, kind of comes across as if she's saying, like, if you use any bit of someone else's content, like a fucking profile picture or just a picture of them that's in their content or maybe a clip of their video, you're guilty. Which of course we know isn't the case because there have been God knows how many cases that have genuinely went to court now that have been big stories on YouTube and whatnot where a creator was getting sued for copyright and because of fair use they've actually won the case.
So her claims that I have filed false copyright strikes are completely false and also impossible. When I submit a request to a platform to take down stolen artwork, there is a big section of it that requires me to submit a ton of evidence proving that my client is the owner of the copyright. This is in the form. And if I don't provide enough evidence for that, they will reject the report.
Yeah, because of course we have never seen one of these false copyright requests be accepted by the platform that have then later had to be taken back when they realised that it was wrongly accepted. That's definitely never ever happened. But yeah, you get the gist of the video. To me, it seems like Jeanette here is kind of trying to say that if you just use any bit of someone's content, then you can basically be fucked by copyright. And Jeanette, if you are watching this, I realise that probably isn't the legal term, so if you put that in a cease and desist, you might have a sense of that. But yeah, either way, we have finally reached the end of this situation, or at least up until the point of me recording this video. I assume a lot more is going to happen. Jeanette posts a lot of videos on her page where she's kind of been talking about about copyright a lot, which seems like she is responding to the current situation and whatnot. And yeah, so more might be said, who knows? But from the information that we have, would love to know your opinions down below in the comment section about everything that I mentioned in today's video. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.